Every woman thinks men fall in love because of sex, but here's the truth most don't realize. A man's heart isn't captured in the bedroom, it's captured in the moments when he feels respected, understood, and valued in ways the world never gives him. If you want a man to fall not just for your body, but for your soul, then you need to understand what he craves, even more than desire. Respect and admiration are at the core of what makes a man feel loved in a way that no amount of physical intimacy can replace. A man may be attracted by chemistry or desire, but he falls in love when he feels deeply seen and valued for who he is. Respect is not about agreeing with everything he says or doing everything he wants. It is about honoring his identity, his efforts, and the way he shows up in the world. When a man feels that the woman he loves genuinely admires his qualities, his work, and his character, it touches him in a place that sex alone cannot reach. Physical attraction can spark passion, but respect sustains devotion because it tells him he matters as a person, not just as a body. Many men live with a quiet pressure to perform, to provide, to achieve, and to prove themselves. Society often teaches men that their worth is tied to their success or strength. So when a woman respects him not just for what he does, but for who he is, it gives him a kind of freedom and comfort that is rare. He wants to know that even if he fails, even if he struggles, he will not lose her admiration. This doesn't mean blind praise or ignoring his flaws. It means noticing his effort, acknowledging his intentions, and valuing his uniqueness. It means letting him know you see the man behind the mask he wears for the world. When a man feels that kind of respect, he becomes vulnerable in the most beautiful way because he knows he doesn't have to earn love by being perfect. He is already enough. Admiration is powerful because it reaches into a man's deepest need to feel significant. Every man, no matter how confident he looks, wants to feel like he is good enough in the eyes of the person he loves. When you highlight his strengths, when you show that you notice the way he thinks, the way he leads, the way he loves, you feed his soul in a way nothing else can. Men fall hard for the women who see in them what they sometimes struggle to see in themselves. Your words and actions can become the mirror that reflects back his best qualities, reminding him that he has worth and purpose. This is not about flattery or manipulation. Men can feel the difference between shallow compliments and genuine admiration. True respect comes from paying attention, listening, and appreciating him for real things he does and the character he carries. Respect also shows up in the way you interact with him in moments of conflict. Every relationship will face disagreements, but the way respect is given during those times determines whether love grows or dies. If you belittle him, dismiss his feelings, or undermine his perspective, it chips away at his trust and emotional safety. But if you can disagree with grace, if you can express your feelings without tearing down his worth, it tells him he is valued even when you don't see eye to eye. That balance of honesty with respect creates an environment where love can deepen because it proves that admiration is not conditional. When a man feels respected, he naturally wants to give more, to love more deeply, and to invest more in the relationship. It awakens his desire to protect, to provide, and to cherish, not because he feels pressured, but because he feels honored. Respect calls out the best in him. It draws him closer and makes him want to stay because the woman who respects him is the one who makes him feel truly alive. Emotional safety is one of the most powerful forces that can make a man fall deeply in love, yet it is often overlooked. For many men, the world is a place where they feel constant pressure to be strong, capable, and unshakable. They are taught not to cry, not to appear weak, and not to show the cracks in their armor. Behind that mask of strength, however, most men carry fears, insecurities, and quiet battles they rarely share with anyone. When a woman creates an environment where he feels safe enough to lay down that armor, he begins to trust her with a part of himself that no one else gets to see. That trust is what transforms attraction into deep, lasting love. Emotional safety means he can express himself without fear of being judged, ridiculed, or rejected. It is knowing that when he admits his doubts, he won't be laughed at. It is knowing that when he shares a vulnerable truth, it won't be used against him later. For men who are often told to man up or tough it out, finding someone who lets them be raw and human is incredibly rare. That kind of acceptance is magnetic. It makes him want to open up more, to reveal more of his heart, and to keep coming back to the woman who makes him feel free in his own skin. When a man feels emotionally safe, he can talk about his fears, his failures, and even his pain without shame. He can reveal the boy inside the man, the part of him that still craves comfort and understanding. Many men hide this side from the world because they worry it will make them look weak. But when a woman responds to his vulnerability with compassion instead of criticism, she becomes his safe haven. She becomes the one person he knows he can turn to, not just when he is strong, but when he is broken. That kind of bond is far more intimate than anything physical because it connects two souls, not just two bodies. It is easy to love someone when they are confident and successful, but emotional safety is tested in the moments when he is uncertain or struggling. How you respond in those moments shapes the depth of his trust. If you belittle him, dismiss his feelings, or show impatience with his struggles, he learns to close up and keep his pain to himself. But if you listen, if you offer comfort without trying to fix him, and if you show patience when he is figuring things out, he learns that your love is a place of refuge. That experience of being safe with you plants the seed of devotion because he realizes you love him for more than his performance. You love him for who he is at his core. Emotional safety also fuels intimacy in ways that are often misunderstood. A man who feels safe emotionally will give more of himself physically, mentally, and spiritually. He will want to communicate more openly. He will let his guard down more often, and he will be more affectionate and consistent. Safety doesn't weaken his masculinity. It strengthens it because it allows him to step into love without the fear of being wounded. It turns his defenses into openness and his hesitations into commitment. When you create emotional safety for a man, you are not mothering him or excusing bad behavior. You are showing him that his feelings matter, that he has a right to be human, and that he doesn't have to earn love by being flawless. That kind of acceptance is so rare that when a man finds it, he knows he cannot let it go. He falls deeply because he has found something he didn't even realize he was searching for, a love that feels safe enough to reveal his soul. Encouragement and belief are two things that reach straight into a man's heart and make him feel unstoppable in love. No matter how strong or independent a man may appear, he still wrestles with moments of doubt, fear, and uncertainty about his path in life. He may not always admit it, but deep down he wonders if he is capable enough, if he is good enough, if he has what it takes to fulfill his potential. When the woman he loves becomes the voice that reminds him of his strength when he forgets, he experiences a bond that no physical intimacy could ever compete with. Encouragement makes him feel like he is not walking alone, and belief tells him he has someone who sees his greatness even when he struggles to see it himself. For many men, the world feels like a constant test. They are judged by their careers, their achievements, their ability to provide, and their resilience under pressure. This constant weight can wear down even the most confident man. When he comes home to a woman who believes in him, it is like finding water in the desert. Your words have the power to either drain him or lift him, to either feed his doubts or fuel his determination. A simple reminder like, "I know you can handle this," or "I believe in the man you are becoming," can shift his entire state of mind. It is not about pretending he is perfect. It is about acknowledging his effort, honoring his dreams, and reminding him that he he has what it takes. Encouragement is not just about words, it is also about presence and energy. It is the way you show support when he takes risks, the way you celebrate his progress instead of only focusing on his results, and the way you stand beside him when others walk away. A man feels truly loved when he knows that his woman will not just applaud his victories, but will also believe in him through the setbacks. That kind of unwavering faith builds his courage and pushes him to aim higher because he doesn't want to let down the one person who stood by him when it mattered most. Belief is powerful because it makes him feel significant in your eyes. When a man senses that you admire not only what he does but also who he is becoming, he falls deeper into love. He begins to see himself through your faith in him, and that reflection changes the way he carries himself. Many men secretly long for someone who doesn't just love them as they are, but also believes in what they can become. When you recognize his potential and remind him of his greatness, you plant seeds in his soul that will grow into devotion. He starts to associate his progress and his confidence with the encouragement you gave him, and this connection deepens his emotional bond with you. This kind of encouragement doesn't mean ignoring his flaws or pretending his mistakes don't exist. It means holding him accountable with love while still showing faith in his ability to grow. It means challenging him when he needs it, but always from a place of support rather than criticism. Encouragement is not about blind praise. It is about honest belief that he has the strength to overcome whatever stands in his way. That honesty is what makes your encouragement powerful, because he knows it comes from a place of truth, not flattery. When a man feels consistently encouraged and believed in, he naturally becomes more open, more committed, and more willing to invest in the relationship. Encouragement doesn't just fuel his ambition, it fuels his desire to be the best version of himself for the woman who stood beside him. He falls deeply for the woman who doesn't just see who he is now, but who sees who he is capable of becoming. That belief is a gift greater than sex, greater than admiration alone, because it feeds his soul and awakens his heart to love without limits. Playfulness and joy are like oxygen for a man's heart, and they carry far more weight in creating lasting love than most people realize. Physical intimacy can spark desire, but it is the feeling of fun, laughter, and lightness that makes a man want to stay. Life is already filled with stress, responsibilities, and constant pressure, and for many men, their relationships become the one place where they long to escape that heaviness. When a woman can bring playfulness into his world, she becomes the person who makes life feel lighter, brighter, and more enjoyable. That kind of energy is magnetic, and it keeps a man not just attracted, but emotionally addicted to the connection he shares with her. Joy doesn't mean everything is always perfect, or that you never face challenges together. It means that even in the middle of difficulties, there is still room to laugh, to tease, to smile at each other, and to find moments of happiness. A man falls for the woman who can turn ordinary days into adventures simply by the way she brings her energy into them, whether it's dancing in the kitchen, joking in the car, or playfully challenging him during a conversation. Those little bursts of fun create memories that last longer than any physical encounter. Playfulness adds color to his life, and joy gives him the reason to keep coming back. What makes playfulness so powerful is that it strips away the seriousness men often feel weighed down by. A man may walk through his day carrying the weight of responsibilities, but when he is with a woman who makes him laugh and smile, that weight feels lighter. She becomes his escape, not because she helps him avoid reality, but because she makes reality more bearable. Every man wants to feel like a kid again sometimes, to let go of the seriousness and simply enjoy life without judgment. The woman who offers him that freedom captures not just his attention but his heart. Playfulness also nurtures intimacy in subtle ways. When you laugh together, when you tease him, when you share inside jokes, you are building a private world that belongs only to the two of you. That shared world becomes a secret language of love. love, one that no one else understands. It makes him feel closer to you because it reminds him that love is not just about solving problems or discussing responsibilities. It is about enjoying life together. The joy you bring him becomes addictive because he knows that no matter how stressful his day is, being with you will give him something to smile about. There is also a kind of vulnerability in playfulness. When you are silly together, when you make jokes, or when you laugh until your stomach hurts, you are both letting down your guard. That vulnerability deepens intimacy because it proves you don't need to be perfect to be loved. In fact, it is often in those playful, unfiltered moments that real love grows strongest. For a man, that sense of freedom is priceless. He falls in love with the woman who allows him to be himself fully, not just in serious conversations, but also in the light, joyful, imperfect moments. Joy also acts as a glue during hard times. Every couple faces challenges, but those who know how to keep laughter alive find it easier to weather storms. When you can remind him to smile even when things aren't easy, you are showing him that happiness is not dependent on circumstances, but on connection. That perspective makes him want to hold on to you because you are not just a partner in solving problems, you are a partner in celebrating life. When a man experiences that consistent sense of joy with you, he doesn't just crave your presence, he cherishes it. He begins to associate you with happiness, with ease, and with the lightness he doesn't always allow himself to feel. Playfulness may seem simple, but in truth it is one of the deepest ways to bond because it transforms love into something that feels both exciting and safe. He falls hard for the woman who reminds him that life is not just about surviving, it is about enjoying, and with her, he remembers how to truly live. Loyalty and trust are the foundation of any love that lasts, and for men they hold even more weight than physical attraction. A man can be drawn to beauty, charmed by personality, and excited by passion, but he only gives his heart fully when he knows he is safe with a woman's loyalty. Loyalty is not just about fidelity, it is about consistency, dependability, and standing beside him not only when life is smooth, but also when life is messy. When a man feels he can rely on your loyalty, he begins to let go of the hidden fears that often keep him from committing, and he starts to see you as his anchor in a world full of uncertainty. Trust is equally powerful because it frees a man to be fully himself without worrying that he will be betrayed, manipulated, or taken advantage of. Men are often taught to keep their guard up, to protect their emotions, and to avoid vulnerability because of the risk of being hurt. But when a woman shows him that she is trustworthy, that she values his openness and will protect his secrets, he begins to lower that guard. Trust allows him to give his heart without hesitation because he knows it is being held with care. For a man, that kind of security is more intoxicating than anything physical because it means he can finally rest in the relationship instead of constantly watching for signs of betrayal. Loyalty shows itself in both small and big ways. It is the way you stand up for him when others speak against him, the way you defend his integrity when someone questions it, and the way you continue to believe in him even when he is at his lowest. Loyalty is not about blind devotion, it is about a deep decision to remain committed to the bond you share, even when challenges arise. Men notice loyalty in subtle details, such as whether you speak respectfully about him when he is not around, whether you keep his confidences private, and whether you remain supportive even when things don't go the way he hoped. These little signals build trust over time, and before long, he begins to see you not just as a partner, but as his safe place in the world. Trust is also built through consistency. Words matter, but actions matter more. If you say you will be there, he notices when you follow through. If you promise to keep something between the two of you, he notices when that confidence is protected. Each time you prove trustworthy, he invests more of himself into the relationship. Men are not quick to open their hearts, but once they do it with a depth that surprises even them. That depth is only possible when trust is strong, because without it, he will always hold something back. The combination of loyalty and trust creates a kind of love that feels unshakable. When he knows that no matter what storms life brings, you will not abandon him, and when he trusts that his heart is safe with you, he begins to see you as irreplaceable. This is why men often say they value loyalty above anything else in a relationship. To them, loyalty is proof of love in action, not just in words. It is what tells him you are not just there for the fun parts, but for the long haul. When a man feels your loyalty and trust, it ignites his desire to give the same back to you. It awakens his protective nature, his commitment, and his devotion, because he realizes he has found something rare. He falls deeply in love with the woman he knows will stand by him, not because she has to, but because she chooses to. In a world where trust is fragile and loyalty is often broken, the woman who offers both becomes unforgettable. She becomes the one he cannot imagine losing, because with her, love feels not only passionate but permanent. Appreciation for effort is one of the deepest needs men have in love, yet it is one of the most overlooked. A man can give his time, his energy, his protection, his presence, and countless small gestures every single day. But if those efforts go unnoticed, he slowly begins to feel invisible. Men fall in love with the woman who makes them feel significant, and significance often comes through the simple recognition of what they do. It is not about grand gestures or constant praise. It is about acknowledging that his actions matter, that he is not taken for granted, and that the energy he pours into the relationship is seen and valued. Appreciation is the fuel that keeps a man investing more and more of himself, because it reminds him that his role has meaning. Every man, no matter how confident he appears, longs to feel that he is making a difference in the life of the woman he loves. When he opens the door for you, when he helps you solve a problem, when he listens after a long day, when he sacrifices his comfort for yours. These things may look small on the surface, but to him they are acts of love. If they go unrecognized, he begins to wonder if his presence even matters. But when you say, "Thank you for always being there," or "I really appreciate how you take care of me," you are telling him that his efforts are seen, and that makes him feel like he is winning in love. That feeling of significance is intoxicating, and it bonds him to you in a way that no physical intimacy ever could. Appreciation is powerful because it transforms even the most ordinary gestures into something meaningful. A man who feels appreciated for the little things is inspired to give even more. It becomes a cycle where he wants to contribute, to protect, to provide, and to love more deeply because he feels that his effort has value. On the other hand, when a man feels unappreciated, he slowly withdraws. It is not always out of anger. Sometimes it is simply because no one wants to give endlessly without knowing it matters. Appreciation is like water to his soul. Without it, his energy dries up. With it, he becomes unstoppable in love. What makes appreciation so essential is that it connects directly to a man's identity. Men often tie their sense of worth to what they do, to their ability to provide, to their capacity to be useful and dependable. When a woman highlights his effort, she is not just recognizing a task, she is validating his role as a partner, as a protector, as someone who matters. This goes deeper than flattery, because it is not about exaggerating his actions. It is about genuinely noticing the thought, time, and care he invests. True appreciation is specific, heartfelt, and consistent, and when it is given freely, it makes a man feel irreplaceable. Appreciation also builds resilience in the relationship. Every couple will go through ups and downs, but when a man feels that his effort is valued, he is far more willing to weather the storms. He does not give up easily on something where he knows he is making a difference. Appreciation creates a sense of partnership, a reminder that both people are contributing and that the relationship is not being taken for granted. That feeling of teamwork is what inspires him to keep showing up, even on the difficult days. A man falls deeply in love with the woman who sees not just what he gives, but the heart behind it. He may never ask outright for appreciation, but he craves it in silence. He notices when you say thank you, when you acknowledge his effort, and when you remind him that what he does matters. That recognition becomes the reason he wants to do more, to give more, and to love more. Appreciation for effort may seem simple, but it is the foundation of a love that lasts, because it tells a man the one thing he needs to hear most: that he is enough, that he matters, and that his love is making a difference. Love is not built on passion alone, and it is not sustained by desire in isolation. What makes a man fall deeply, madly, and enduringly in love is the way you touch the parts of him that go far beyond the physical. Respect tells him that he matters as a man, not just for what he does, but for who he is at his core. Emotional safety gives him the courage to take off the mask he shows to the world and reveal the tender, hidden pieces of himself he rarely shares. Encouragement and belief remind him that even when he stumbles, someone sees his greatness and believes in the man he is becoming. Playfulness and joy allow him to breathe, to laugh, to live fully, and to remember that love is not just about survival, but about enjoying the journey together. Loyalty and trust ground him, reassuring him that he can place his heart in your hands without fear of betrayal, and appreciation for his effort makes him feel significant, reminding him that his love is seen, valued, and cherished. When you give these things, you are offering a man something that no amount of physical passion could ever replace. You are giving him a home for his heart, a safe place for his soul, and a reason to build a future with you. Men do not fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with presence, with sincerity, with the woman who makes them feel respected, safe, inspired, joyful, secure, and valued. These are the gifts that carve your place in his heart so deeply that he cannot imagine life without you. When you understand this, you realize that true love is not about trying harder to please him on the surface. It is about reaching him where it matters most, in the quiet places of his spirit. Give a man these things, and you will not only capture his love, you will inspire his devotion. He will not just want you, he will need you, because with you, he has found more than attraction. He has found a partner, a confidant, a best friend, and a love that makes life infinitely richer. That is the kind of love that doesn't fade with time, but grows stronger, deeper, and more unshakable with every passing day.